Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Alex, by the way. Well, we just met, that's true story. We were supposed to have Fat Dog doing the interview, so those of you who are expecting to see Fat Dog today, I'm so sorry, okay? This is what you get. We are with, yes, boo, I like to get that though. Dr. Hope Oshin, this lady here, and Aimee. Yes, they're both part from of Homegrown, which is a program from the Festival Horizon. Yes, and they've been working. Aimee's been working on a film. Yeah,
Yep.
Like a dystopian, futuristic film. Yes, and Dr. Hope here has been working on a children's book that is called Guyu and Friend Mr. Pelican. Yes, and your film is called Silence of the Jams. Okay, we'll get to talk to that about in a second. First, if you can tell us about a little bit about your experience with Homegrown and what meant to you being Homegrown, and maybe explain to us what did they provide, what is Homegrown really? Because we can say, oh, it's a program to support artists, and we can say that all we want, but then until we hear it from someone that has been there, we really don't know how was the experience really.
Homegrown is pretty inspiring. It's very exciting. You work with a very inspiring team and very supportive team through Horizons, and you get a chance to be able to produce, develop something through the arts, whether it's by performance, whether it's through the projection of your own artworks that you create. And it provides a chance for homegrown people, such as us, to be able to do so in an international forum. That's the really important part of Homegrown. Not really. It's being able to meet people like yourselves, and all of these other really exciting things that we get a chance to do that otherwise we'd never have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I agree. It's the festival supports us in terms of an amazing team to work with and be inspired by, but also such an industry champions to be able to support us to grow our project as well. It's totally allowed us to be ambitious and just go above and beyond an idea and grow it into something even bigger, and to have financial support and festival support to produce something that is hopefully outrageously ambitious and really fun.
Awesome. So you get financial support, you get some tuition, like you get some good influential characters from the Sunny Coast to give you some feedback on your project. Yeah, that's pretty good. So how did you find out about Homegrown, and how was the process application? Was it easy to apply? Was it hard? Is it a lot of people that are applying to this program? Was it very competitive? How did you feel like the process previous to applying or during applying, and after you applied? How was that? Was it easy? Was it challenging? Were you feeling like, oh, maybe I shouldn't apply? Or how were you feeling just before that?
I don't know how many people applied, but only 3 are selected. So there's also Courtney and Itama who couldn't make it today
I forgot to mention them. Yeah.
Who have a project as well. The process was really, I can't even remember, it's so long ago. But it is just an application process. And I think having a really clear understanding about the work that you do, and then having that next level idea to take it to a festival standard and an industry, like an international standard, in order to be able to grow by being a part of this program. I think being able to articulate that is really important. In terms of my project, I'm relatively new to the Sunshine Coast. Personally, I've had a long history here, and I have family here, and I come and go, but in terms of being based here, it's only been the last 2 and a bit years. but my work is, everything that is in the film is filmed entirely on the Sunshine Coast. So it showcases the landscapes and different Sunshine Coast areas. So that was kind of a big driving point behind our work as well. So I thought in terms of it being homegrown, it's definitely showcasing our landscapes.
For me personally, I nearly missed out on the whole process itself. On the very, very last day, I guess I just realised that it was happening, and there was for me as a First Nations person, I felt really, really honoured to be a part of something as huge as what Horizons is, and like the music festival. Even though I've been involved in the arts for a very long time, I started as a professional artist in '93 when I had my first exhibition, my maiden exhibition, and for me, you become really, really isolated in doing your own thing, and therefore to have the opportunity to be able to work in a different way across a range of different venues, meeting so many different people, and looking at all different aspects of what you do is something that's really incredible. I think, as a First Nation person too, I'd really like to be able to, and as a First Nation person from this country that we're all on now, it's Gubbi Gubbi land, and it is protocol. It's a respect of protocol to be able to welcome people onto country, as you do anywhere, and I'd like to be able to do that for everyone here tonight. I hope you don't mind.
Of course not. Actually, I am. I was really bad for my part. I forgot. I'm terrible. Sorry. My bad.
We'll make up for that, eh?
Yeah, no, I don't think
What
I
do
will
you
ever forget again.
Hey, Alex, why don't you do that? I'll do that
I'll do it.
in a formal way.
Yes, can I do
Okay.
a formal one? Because I actually forgot about it, and then I was like, okay, I'll do it maybe in the middle or the end.
Why don't we
Put
do it
there
now?
somewhere. Oh my God. Can I do it? Yes? Yes, I'll do it. Guys, I would like to acknowledge the original owners of this land, present, past, and future. And we are standing on Kabi Kabi land. And Mika mentioned it's Kabi Kabi, and there's also another country that is sunny coast as well.
Univara?
Yinavara, yes, thank you.
So,
and Yinavara country.
There are quite a number of different nations here. There's Univara, and then there's also other nations within Gubbi Gubbi area. So you've got Undambi, Dalla, and Ningi, which is on the other side of the Sunshine Coast, near the Pumice Passageway. And this is a song that's always performed when a welcome to country is provided, and I'd like to do that for you tonight. Yari Inna Nami Wajam Mobi wrong no Gayan ban bananang Gayam ban banaya Kari Inna Nami Gari nami ujumobirono gayambamana. That song was written by one of my great-grandfathers, who is also, we have connections to Yinabara country too as well. And one of the other songs that recognises the other First Nations people other than people on the mainland or First Nation Aboriginal people are the people of the Torres Strait Islands. And I grew up on an Aboriginal community called Cherbourg, which is about 300 kilometres not far from here. And during the First, Second and Third World Korean Wars and other subsequent wars, a song was given to our community of Cherbourg, where I grew up, on Waka Waka land, which is on the other side of the hills of the tablelands there. And this is the song that they gave to us to... it goes like this. It's a Barama. Oh, it's a Baramai. Jungle by a saya banya. Oh, Iramai. Hurry home. It was gifted because people like my grandfather and a lot of our people served in the First, Second World War, and as did a lot of the Torres Strait Islander people too. Some never ever came back to our shores. And it's only been recently that First Nations people have been recognised as playing their part to ensure that Australia is kept safe and defended in such tragedies as world wars. And you know that for us as First Nations people too, we too felt the effects of invasion. Sorry, Aimee.
Thank you, Hope. No, thank you so much.
That's mine.
Thank you for sharing that so much. And I apologize for not starting with the welcome to country that is, and I understand that is so important. And there's so much things that we need to learn about First Nations. I particularly feel sometimes that I'm a bit short on getting involved and learning more about First Nation people. I've been here for 8 years and I keep learning and trying the best I can to acknowledge the First Nations people. Thank you so much for that. Now back to, wow, coming back from that is going to be tough because that was so deep. Thank you so much. I would like to talk about the book that you wrote for Homegrown. Or if you want to share with us, what is it about? Because it's called Guyu and Friend Mr. Pelican. What is it about?
This is a story that illustrates our continual practice of respect for country and all living things within our country. I thought, how can I demonstrate to Sunshine Coast people that even though it's been more than 250 odd years since the newcomers came to Australia, we've been carrying on some of our culture even though we weren't allowed to speak our languages, even though when the 1901 Constitution and the federal government was established, we were excluded from that. And it wasn't until 1967, on the 27th of May, that 98% of Australians voted yes, that finally Aboriginal people could be called Australians and be recognised and be counted in the census. Being counted in the census, you mightn't think is such a big deal. It is a very big deal. I mean, the census has been conducted worldwide. It then determines who belongs to what place and what country they're within. It determines a whole lot of things. And not to be recognised or recorded until 1967 was a big deal. So Guyu and my friend Mr. Pelican was a story that I decided to write when I was with a young child and his father when they were fishing down at the Maroochy River. And it is this story where the child reaches out and automatically befriends the pelican. You may have heard of another story called Storm Boy and seen the movie Storm Boy. Well, this is a different aspect of that. This is locally owned and positioned here in my place, in your place. So this has implications, not just for me, but for you too as well. This is your place. And in telling the story, the pelican, about the dreaming stories and about how the humans lived harmoniously with the animals and within their environment, Guyu, the young lad, became the student. And the story teaches the child about respect to and it also, the story shows the affiliation of the child and the pelican and the respect that grows between them and how that child will always be connected to that particular bird, the pelican, in that way. And one of the amazing things for me is my father's country is Kawa, which is way out in Winton. When the first time I went out there, right in the middle of Winton, right there, was Pelican Waters. So it was like I was transported in this time warp from the Sunshine Coast, being on the Maroochy River, and then a year or so later, ending up for the very first time on my father's country. And there was the pelican and the lynx. So you tell me whether or not that ain't spiritual.
Thank you very much, Hope. Thanks. Thank you, that was so good. Very educational as well. I'm going to go to Aimee, if you don't mind, for a second. Aimee, because we might be running out of time as well.
Oh yeah, I just have to say, I've had a sneak peek. I don't mind.
Yes.
I've had a sneak peek at some of the beautiful images that go with this children's book as well, and it's the most beautiful piece of art that I've seen for children in a very long time. It's just stunning, and it's just going to be a really beautiful experience for a whole generation to experience. It's really gorgeous.
Actually, yeah. Is the book available already is it going to be when is it launching? Has it already launched? Is it already available?
It'll be launched at the Horizons Festival, and I run a non-for-profit charity too as well. I was able to donate. You don't mind me just explaining this, Marissa? I was able to donate the books to all the children, you know, whoever turned up at the festival, and also to the libraries all across the Sunshine Coast, and to all of the school libraries too as well. So each school, hopefully, will be able to. And there's another project by the Sunshine Coast Council. It's about story seats, where stories, you can go into a number of different parks, follow the trails, and at each park, a storybook is being acknowledged as something really important for that particular place. Well, Guyu is story is on a story seat at Mulla Park. I just had to laugh because I just had some Argentine tea.
Okay, Aimee, tell us about your film. Is called Silence of the Jams, and from what I read, is a very futuristic, dystopian future. Can you tell us a little bit about it, and how was it? Have you already concreted the whole project? Is it already done up, like edited, ready to go? Or?
Almost.
Okay, almost.
It came about from an idea. So my partner, Mark, who can't be here this evening, is Eddie Ray. So he is the star of the film. I'm kind of the co-creator and the cinematographer for the film as well. Eddie Ray... Silence of the Jams is a bit of an Eddie Ray story. So Eddie Ray comes from a character that Mark created who is kind of like a 10-year-old boy who is obsessed with Terminator and is totally convinced that smartphones are the reincarnation of Terminator and that they are going to take over the world. So when the great silence of 2020 happened, Eddie Ray being a mindset of no greater than a 10-year-old without a smartphone, obviously, it's just obvious that the smartphones have caused this. So we go into the apocalyptic world where everyone's locked down, he has no idea where anybody is or anything that's going on. It's a little bit of a dystopian future, but it's also harking back to the old Western movies. So Eddie Ray is a lone cowboy with a motorbike as his trusty steed. It's a film we created, just the two of us in lockdown. So it literally is being made up of improvised scenes over months at a time in beautiful locations that we come across. It's been weaved together with an original soundtrack created by Mark, and that's going to be performed live with a live 5-piece band to the film. So we've come full circle of Silence of the Jams and no music to be able to present a film that was created in lockdown when we had no gigs as a live music gig again. So that's kind of our little celebration of the film has come full circle.
That is so good, yes. Also a good opportunity to take, because it was lockdown, there was probably very few people around, so you were able to actually
get some amazing drone shots of motorbikes
with
riding
no
around the place.
Yeah. There's actually another project from Homegrown that they couldn't make it, that is called Sand by Courtney Shue and Itamar Fried. That it was they were projecting it in the back, so maybe if you pay attention to that later, it's from them. It's also from Homegrown. I think we're out of time here, although we could keep talking forever, and I would love that. But yeah, and then after this, some bands are gonna start playing, and anybody has any questions that want to do something very quickly, any doubts about what we just discussed? Yes.
So it'll be shown on the 30th of August at the Spiegel tent. Yeah.
I think that's a wrap. Thank you very much, Dr. Hope and
Thank
Aimee.
you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.